Okay, let's get into it. Circumference. This is a fun part of the unit where we talk about pi, 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 pi. But what is pi? No, not this pi. You know me, I love some pie. But this is pi over here. Right over here is pi. This is what it looks like. It's a symbol used with circumference. Remember, circumference is the perimeter of a circle. Okay, and it uses pi. Okay, so it's an irrational number, meaning it's a never-ending decimal number and it has no pattern. Absolutely no pattern. So it's irrational. It's like, it doesn't make sense. When someone's irrational, they don't make sense. It's a ratio that can be found by dividing the circumference by the diameter of a circle. And this is how it's written. Or you can write it like that if you're not too fancy. Okay, so I would like you to now think about, how do you write pi? How do you write it? What is the value of it? What's the number that you'll be using? Okay, we actually use this little number here because it never ends. But if you were to write it down fully, because it's a never-ending decimal, you would actually have to write down all of this. Yeah. So this is too much to write, but this is a nice number here. This is a really nice number. Yeah, 3.14. Okay. You just need to remember it, but you can essentially abbreviate it with the fancy symbols. Okay, but you need to remember to write it as 3.14. Okay, so again, circumference is the distance around my iPad's dying. Distance around the circle. It's the perimeter, and we use capital, uppercase, capital C. Okay, and we denote it C equals d pi. What? D pi? Like the pi? No, D as in diameter, kids. Remember that? Diameter. Now, you don't put an operation sign because that would be wrong. Because as you get older and you're learning more and more math, if you put a multiplication symbol, it will get very confusing. Okay, so C equals d pi. You can even say it to yourself, d pi, d pi, d pi. C being circumference, d being diameter, and pi being 3.14. So all that means is you multiply the diameter by 3.14. So always write down the formula step by step. Fill in the values for each letter or symbol. Calculate. You've done this before. You've done this before. Okay. So again, C equals d pi. This is wrong. Don't do it. But you can do it with a little dot. You can even do it with a little asterisk, a little star. It's a fancy name, asterisk. Asterisk. Lots of fun words. Asterisk. I think it might have a C. No, it doesn't have a C. But that little star is an asterisk. Okay. Let's give it a shot and practice a little bit, okay? Let's give it a shot and practice. Now, we calculate the circumference of each circle. Oh, here we go. So doing another color here. C equals d pi. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Okay, our diameter, remember diameter goes across the circle through the center. Diameter is 40 millimeters. Okay, times pi. What's pi? What's pi? Oh, 3.14. Okay. It's okay to put a multiplication sign here because you're actually putting in numbers. But when you're doing the actual formula, no multiplication symbol. Okay. All right, now 40 times 3.14 gives you 125.6 millimeters. Okay, and it's not squared because it's perimeter. It's the perimeter. Okay, let's do the next one. C equals d pi. D pi, d pi. 12.6 multiplied by pi, which is 3.14. What does that give us? $39.564 thousandths of a centimeter. Again, it's not squared because it's actually the perimeter. Okay. Oh, this one's a bit tricky. Don't get tricked. Don't get tricked by this one, kids. Okay, remember, you had two different types of lines that went with a circle. You had diameter and you had radius. These two are radius. So now, remember, the radius is, to get the diameter out of this, you times it by 2. 2 times r, or 2r. 2r equals your d. Let's try it. Because remember, diameter goes through the circle. So if this side's 8 and this side's 8, 8 plus 8 is 16 centimeters. Okay, now let's do our C equals the pi, d pi. Finish calculating that out. Finish calculating out. You got your diameter, which is now 16, multiplied by 3.14. Your 50 and 2,400 centimeters. Remember, not squared. Okay, for circumference is not squared. Okay, do this next one, that 32.6 tenths of a meter. It's a big circle. Remember, don't get tricked. This one's radius. What is the diameter? Okay. So 2 times the radius. So 32.6 times 2 gives you 65.2. So C equals the pi d, d pi. So we got our 3.14, which is also multiplied by 2 times 32.6, which gives us 65.2. What is our final answer? It's a big circle. 204, 728 thousandths meters. not squared because it's the perimeter of a circle. Okay, so remember radius is halfway. Remember that. Radius is half the diameter. Okay. For your practice, workbook pages 90 to 91. Do these questions 2, 3, 4, 6. No, don't do 5. 7, 8, 9. And you're calculating. Don't estimate, don't estimate, don't estimate. Ms. Reed, do we estimate? No, don't estimate. Okay. Those of you that have a Mathletics account, calculating circumference of circles should already be set up for you. Okay. On Wednesday, you're going to have a quiz on radius, diameter, and circumference. So please, please, please review, rewatch the videos. I'll post the YouTube playlist for at least this section. Okay, and ask questions, kids. Ask the questions. All right, have a great day.